Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Bring the wall!
Woo! Here we are, the most electrifying 1 hour here, 216, and this is, let me tell you something, brother, with Tom Odell, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Tom's Productions. Of course, if you think it, he can ink it. He'll put it on just about anything except your. Is that
maybe?
Right? Is it maybe?
Cash.
Hey, the price is right.
Cash upon delivery.
Cash. That's it. What's happening there, Tom? You are festive in your sweater there.
So this is our final show of 2023, because our next scheduled show would have been Christmas Eve.
What is happening?
What are you doing? I think the rejects have sabotaged us. What is that?
I don't know.
Or is that Uncle Pete?
It could be a little Uncle Pete, the Christmas ghost rolling.
It could be.
I don't know what that was.
So yeah, it's going to be our final show of the year in 2023, because our next scheduled show would have been Christmas Eve, and I got my kids that night. So, and I don't think anyone's really going to probably tune in at 8 o'clock on Christmas Eve anyway.
Well, I think everybody would, but you deserve a day.
Oh, maybe. So today I got my potential new co-host here. We got Alex.
Alex is in.
So the rejects are always complaining like, "Oh, you need a partner or whatever. You need a mystery." I'm tired of the mystery partner. So we got the new tag team right now.
Nice.
See,
It's a possibility.
See how he likes it. See how the viewers like it. See how we like it, and how John Cena over there likes it too. So we'll see how that goes. So
yeah. So the title today is the Rumble already set in stone?
So yeah, right now WWE does not have a major pay-per-view until January 27th. It's Royal Rumble in January. I think it's like 9 weeks between their last pay-per-view is what it's doing. So it's like a slow build up. With Triple H now in charge, he has done away with some of Vince's stuff of he's actually giving the wrestlers Christmas off, giving them that like whole week off to go be with their family and recuperate. So there won't be any, I don't think, live shows that week. It'll probably just be like a highlight special.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or you'll have like announcers talking or something like that. They'll probably like re-air like a WrestleMania match or some key matches that happen throughout the year. And then they'll re-kick it off beginning of January, I believe. If not, because I doubt they do New Year's Eve. I don't know if they're doing New Year's Eve. I think they had that off too.
Well, they have their and don't they have the NXT show around New Year's Eve right now?
They had Deadline last night.
Yeah.
New
Year's Evil.
Because I know AEW has at World's End on Saturday, December 30th. So right now, Wrestling World, what's been going on? It's very much similar to last time. It's like a guy that shall be nameless getting all the unnecessary attention, but it's just a quick money grab.
It is, and I look about as in shape as he is.
Mm.
I mean, that guy does not look good.
He doesn't. I swear, if he comes in and starts dominating like how he did in AEW, like the fans will turn on him sooner than anything.
Yeah.
Right now, he's got to be behind headset or manager
or backstage presence too.
All right. Well, maybe not backstage presence.
Yeah, I don't even know if he belongs there.
Because like, I mean, it's just,
I mean, you see them building it up with Rollins.
you see the build, like there's so much potential there with storylines and good money grabs. They now have a new storyline with the Bloodline where you can now get Paul Heyman out of there.
Yeah.
So that he could turn on Roman and then rejoin.
Well, and so now if the CM, right, the Muncher, if he of course wins the Rumble, the interesting thing would be is he would probably choose to go up against Rollins, right?
More than likely.
Yeah.
And do they then because there's two belts or whatever? Then do they just retire Reigns and he never really loses? And he goes down as the greatest of all time.
Because right now, where was he at? If he wins WrestleMania, he's only like a couple hundred days away from Hogan.
Yeah.
It's like a record like that. So I still think he's done at WrestleMania because he's got like the Hollywood career right now that he's ready to go jump to.
He's going to do some Disney shows.
And everything's been, probably, with The Rock. I mean, everything's been set up for him against Cody.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to do the Cody versus Roman again, and I think you're going to get the man that should be nameless against Seth freaking Rollins. But I think that what I like about what they're doing right now is with Randy coming back, you have Randy going against the lower bloodline. And I think that storyline is there, and that's more real along with the Rollins storyline. I think Roman Reigns and Cody is actually going to take the second seat to those two, personally, and which is kind of pathetic because of the title that Roman carries.
Right.
But I mean, the storyline that they're building up to, even in this last week, they've kind of hinted at a lot of those things already. With Cody saying to him is, "Oh well, your story is unfinished. You got to win the Royal Rumble." Okay, well, I'm in the Royal Rumble, so I don't think they're going to play that card yet.
To me, it's like, wow, the whole thing with the man shall be nameless. It's a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, I mean, it's like kissing a girl with garlic breath. I mean, it's just bad.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, I don't like anything about it.
Yeah. And they're even trying to sell off with like the merch right now is, hell froze over.
Right.
Like, I mean, they're trying to play on it, but he left such a bad taste in the mouth of the WWE that I don't know why they're even why they brought him back.
I mean, like we said before in the last show, I mean, it's just a quick cash grab. I mean, this is the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You have all the controversy. It kind of kills the AEW storyline of the devil that they've been doing. Like, oh, is he going to come back and be the devil? And then they worked us all. Because now it's like people are starting to lose interest in that part. Yeah. The storyline with AEW, and like AEW's got to get their shit together. I mean, it's funny. It's for me watching them. I try watching them weekly. They are hit or miss,
and mostly miss.
And it's like you'll have great Dynamite, and then maybe a semi-okay Collision. Rampage, I almost kind of just stopped watching and just fall asleep now after SmackDown.
That's because you're old.
Yeah, that is because I'm old and tired.
That's right.
But yeah, and then then they'll excuse me. The next week on Dynamite will just be like nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, what is this? Like, you had almost the exact same matches before, and like Nega Timothy would say, there would be botch fest.
Yeah.
Like El Vecchino or whatever, like he had to jump off the top rope, got caught on top rope, and did like a top dollar. And it's just like, you try to defend them, and their issue with AEW is they don't have a leader to dictate saying yes or no. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. It's more.
You mean like a Mr. McMahon?
Well, it's
leader?
like a Mr. McMahon. Yeah. Well, it's not just a Mr. McMahon character. It's actually like a Vince McMahon.
Right.
Like, everyone kind of fears but respects him.
Yeah.
What he says goes.
Khan's a nice guy.
Khan is too nice of a guy. It's like every time he signs someone, it's a big old giant hug and like a new love fest. And then it's like his new toy action figure that he just got.
He's the fan.
Oh, right.
Right.
And it's the constant storyline. I mean, Daddy gave them all the money to do it, and they made something out of it. But it's like you're saying, it's that shiny toy, and every new wrestler is that one fresh out of the package.
Right, fresh out of package. Let's showcase them for a week or two, and then I forgot about that one because I just got a new toy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like he's got so much talent there, and wrestlers that I like with their skill set. It's just he's using the same main like 4 or 5 guys for both shows, and when they first started, it was kind of nice. We're like, okay, yeah, Jericho paired up with a younger guy that you may have never heard of.
Yeah.
And you're now seeing his style. You're seeing Sammy Guevara. You're seeing Heyman Adam Page. You're seeing MJF especially. And now it's like, all right, we're going to have our 2 top guys with TV time that are injured, getting all that TV time, wasting kind of that time where they could be showcasing other talent.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Because I stream everything. I don't have time to watch it.
Well, you're on Facebook, just like AEW's Facebook page, and every 5 minutes they have their highlights of the match. Never have to buy a pay-per-view.
AEW for me has always been like, not to cut you off, but the American wing of New Japan. Like a lot of that, when they came out that Forbidden Door, like you was like, okay, who's going to be coming over? But a lot of those guys from the initialization of AEW was those guys from New Japan. Yeah. And that was, no one knew who their style were. They were different. Adam, Hangman Page, Switchblade, all of them, they were new to the American viewers. But people that have watched them, these are the same thing that they were doing over there. And it's just one of those things where they need.
Hey, Ted. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it was like nobody knew what was happening, or should I like it? Should I not like it? Am I supposed to like it? And they did get some good WWE over there, but then you know what? It's like the live golf, right? Yeah. I mean, they're just over there like, I don't care if I win, I got the money, right? I don't care what the product looks like. I'm making my millions, whether I win or lose. So
it's almost like
let me just go play golf.
WCW was. It's like history repeating itself right now, and it's like, and they have enough former WCW guys there that should know better. Yeah, and it's like, oh well, now we're in the Hogan and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall kind of level, realm exactly. And then it's like, oh well, we got that. It's nice. Why care more? But like right now, like what I'm seeing is TNA is actually starting to, like, I don't know, get Viagra or something. Like they are like re-blossoming.
Yeah.
Because for a while they just disappeared.
Yeah.
And like they try to make a big play at the Man It Shall Be Nameless, try to make a big play at Osprey, which AEW ended up signing, where I hope like they don't drop the ball on that guy. Like that is unbelievable talent that can be the face of a company. What I like to see AEW do is, again, team up with the New Japan and what they did with TNA a couple of years ago. And maybe even NWA, like have those 4 kind of like do a super show together. Because WWE won't do that with anyone. But if you get those 4 to do kind of a big super show together, now you're getting a showcase of New Japan, you're getting a showcase of NWA, you're getting a showcase,
a taste of everything.
And like most of the guys have already intertwined with each of the organizations anyway, so you're going to have that trust within the performers.
The one thing I think AEW is like missing, and I think they've hinted at it a lot with who they brought over from, especially from New Japan, but like they're really missing like that bad faction, like that, like, Bullet Club and NW, and New Japan, NWO and ECW, WCW, and Degeneration X, of course, in WWF. But that's just what they're missing. And they tried it with the Jericho Society, and it just didn't click.
The Inner Circle was great.
The Inner Circle was good. And the
Pinnacle was great. And it's like when they first started, they had the good factions. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they kind of
the shiny toy
went away from it. And now it's like all of a sudden like, oh, these guys are bad guys. It's like Paul White. Like, oh, you're a bad guy now. No, you're a good guy. No, oh no, we're going to put you back to the bad guy on the same night. It's like they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating as a fan. It's like you want to watch it and want to love it. It's like I'm interested in Continental Classic, and you're actually getting some decent wrestling matches out of it. But it's like it's all set up for more likely like Daniel Bryan to win it.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson. Which is funny because then you'll get the same people. They'll be like, no, that's his name now, but then I still call it the Sky Dome. or I still call it Rosemont Horizon, even though it is
Sears Tower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that what I'm seeing and feeling anyway, as I peruse the news, is the smaller venues, I think, will start to overtake AEW. AEW just doesn't excite people, whether it's the way it's managed, whether it's the storylines, whether it's the talent.
right.
More people would like to watch Impact Wrestling. More people would like to watch NWA. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is.
And that's where WWE right now with Endeavor, two things with them. I'll talk about the first one. They have now contemplating eliminating a lot more of the house shows. So like you won't get the smaller WWE house shows in like Peoria or Rockford and that kind of stuff. Because they're finding out now it's just not cost effective. They're not making much money off it like they used to, because everything's now live stream or someone's got a cell phone. Oh, I'll just watch it on that and watch the clip and highlight.
Well, it's that instant gratification that we all want. We want to see it right away. And, with the house show, it's all being sent on via, from Facebook Live or somebody's Snapchat now, to where it's hard to sell it.
Right.
Why go to a house show anymore when, you could see it all up from your phone moments later.
And like there's not going to be a title change more likely, and
who's actually going to show up. You're not seeing the main guys show up anymore. They're all on their kind of vacations per se.
It's like the main guys are now like the part-timers, and it's just, I used to love going to those house shows. I actually would prefer a house show than like any kind of Raw or SmackDown, just because it's commercial free and you're getting wrestling. You're not getting the promos. You're not getting like the dead time when they're at commercial break. And that was probably the worst when I was at Nitro. It's just like commercial break is 3-4 minutes, and they're doing nothing. They're just standing in the ring. They just stand in the ring, like they're like, even a bad guy's not even like trying to draw heat from the crowd. He's just standing in the ring, just waiting for his cue. It's like this is horrible.
Waiting for the signal to come back from TV.
And then like right before they come back to TV, he'll say something to the crowd to kind of incite them. But like during those 4 minutes, like they're doing nothing. Maybe they'll shoot shirts out of the crowd. But the other thing with Endeavor is they actually just signed TNA Impact Plus for a streaming service. So you can now stream TNA for $10 a month. And get like their live shows, their library, similar to WWE Network, but you can't get their big four shows. If you want the big four shows, then you got to spend like $200 for the year. But for me, like, I don't know, TNA was very like late 2000s when they were hot.
Yeah.
Right now it's like they don't really have that like AJ Styles kind of guy anymore. They don't have a Samoa Joe kind of guy, those younger talents that you really wanted to see. Because most of them go to either New Japan or now go to AEW and just not be seen.
Or be buried.
So I got something else here.
The one thing that I've kind of noticed going back to the WWE right now, like with this last week of run, the whole free agent signings, I did, like I said, the man that shall not be named, him on every show. I mean, it's definitely boosting ratings, but my thought to it is I have a feeling they're going to have him sign with SmackDown, even though he's going to make the announcements on Monday Night Raw where he's going to go. But, Fox SmackDown doesn't have anybody right now. Right. Roman's not there.
They just got Orton.
Yeah, you just got Orton. But I think with the whole, the reports were Triple H was in were in LA last week to try to finalize that TV deal. And I think they're going to really use him as that piece. And if that piece is what the companies bite at, you'll see exactly where he goes, which is going to dictate what storyline he goes with. I still think they're going to do the Seth Rollins storyline, which is going to put him on Raw. But that's just what's missing right now is there's no reason to watch one of the shows because they have nobody.
And that's where like SmackDown, they have Heyman and LA Knight. They're like the only two talkers for that show. I read reports where Fox wants them to have CM Punk. Oh shit, I said his name. Fucker.
I've been trying.
But like Fox wants them for ratings, and for me, like business wise, if I had them, I put them on Friday night because that's right before AEW Rampage. to try to like just take away from their viewership. I mean, I would just do that as a business.
Well, that goes back to the whole Eric Bischoff style of like ECW. Hey, if you want to know what's going to happen on WWF at the time, oh, this is exactly what's about to happen. Turn the channel now and you'll see this. Like I would play off of that again. And again, history is a pendulum and it needs to come back. But that's what I would do. Exactly that is I would have him on right before AEW, have him say some things that you kind of know are going to happen and kind of start that rivalry.
And that's where I know like there's like a non-disclosure contract signed between the man that shall be nameless and Khan, so like they can't really say anything about each other. I think he's done the same thing with Cody too.
It's a matter of time before he pisses somebody off.
Yeah, well, I mean, what we say within 6 months. Yeah, I mean, as soon as he gets hurt, like that's always
because he's not in good shape.
No.
He looks like a plumber, for crying out. Not that plumbers are in bad shape. I'm just saying that he doesn't look like a wrestler.
He looks like your uncle, the uncle that's the plumber that comes to Thanksgiving and his jeans and shirts.
Let me see your tattoo. But that so if I go back to the NWA, right, with William Corgan, I love the news on him because he uses his he doesn't say Billy Corgan. But he is going back to early 80s, right? So he's down in Nashville area, Nashville area. Now they're moving into the Southeast, right? They're kind of gobbling up a lot of the local scenes and bringing a really pretty good product to it, right? And I think as we look at the struggle with AEW and maybe a flatline storyline or one that is easily told here in the WWE, that now local people in these areas may go, wait a minute, this is a pretty good product. Let me go spend my money over here. Yeah, it might be at a college gymnasium or something. I don't know, right, where it is. But nonetheless, Corgan's doing a pretty good deal, and he's hooked up with some pretty good wrestling guys, right, to create this. I don't know if you guys are following that or not, but it's I'm watching his moves and what he's doing, and he's slowly gathering momentum.
And he had it, and then he crushed it.
Yeah.
The bad cocaine storyline. That was just like that killed their deal with CW Network. Yeah, that would have been huge for them, being on the free TV channel. Yeah, but it's like, I mean, again, like I like to see them like kind of team up with these other smaller promotions and make a super show.
Yeah, he just hooked up with what's his name, Joe Kazana, a long time in the wrestling, in the back end of wrestling, big promotions.
Well, that's like what Tom was saying is like with Khan is he doesn't have that a lot. I mean, AEW was built on a few wrestlers getting together and saying, hey, we want to run this, and they had to find the bank, the money men, and they found Khan, and he was always a fan. And that's the one thing that they don't have is they don't have that presence of someone that knows the industry versus from the backside of it. They might have wrestlers, and I think Chris Jericho would be great at that, but I don't think he's ready to put the boots away.
And plus his rock and roll career. And he wants to do. He's got like a Hallmark movie, I think, coming out in Canada for Christmas too. I forget what the name of that one was.
Fozzie, you're killing me, brother. But I love you. Thanks for hanging out.
But yeah, very Fozzie Christmas. But yeah, I think the other thing with AEW too is like when they were first even starting, they had all their shows like taped in Jacksonville. So you had to go there to actually go see it.
Yep.
And then I think they've oversaturated themselves, especially this past year or whatever, desperate to try to get that Max Plus or whatever streaming service thing. And that's where it's like maybe they just have to go back, start from the beginning in a way of like, okay, we're going to do our shows here because we're not making any money traveling at all. Like,
didn't Impact do that where they had like the Impact Zone for a long time, and then but they would still do a few shows outside of the Impact Zone where they had that draw. Like you kind of were like, oh, they're in town. Right. It was something to go see. I mean, I feel like now there's just so many promotions out there where if I can't see WWE when it comes to Chicago, okay, I can go see AEW when they come to Chicago, or I can go see Ring of Honor or so forth. That it's ticket prices that are so high too.
The ticket prices are high, and I think the other issue too lately has been AEW and WWE. Like they've almost been like in the same town or region.
Yeah.
At the same time, like they were all in Chicago Thanksgiving week, and it's like that for a wrestling fan at first it's exciting, but then it's like you're already tired.
Well, you're tired, and that's money.
Right.
I mean, it ain't cheap no more.
No, it's not.
No, like I saw like the Raw
parking alone, for Christ's sake.
Well, the Raw ticket prices are now the cheapest seats $65 for the March show.
Yeah.
I mean, those used to be like 18.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and those are normally you can walk up and pick them up.
Right. Remember that? Yeah. Not now.
Yeah. Now it's like I was tempted to get the Raw tickets because I think that's like the Monday before WrestleMania, so that's going to be a good go home show.
Yeah.
But I'm like $65. Like that was like the pay-per-view for Survivor Series. Like I think it was the cheap seat was $100. Like,
that's tough. Yeah.
There's no championship matches. No. The Tribal Chief ain't there. Why would I pay that much?
However, Seth's going to give anybody a title shot as long as it's not man who shall remain nameless.
No, he'll give him a shot because it'll make him money.
Yeah, that's why I say that'll be at Mania. I think that's who you're going to see is those two.
Because they're even talking about doing that for Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And like, which they may have to if Roman's not wrestling.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
He just had an Sports Illustrated interview, and he took a couple of shots at the man that shall not be nameless.
Seth?
Yeah,
he did.
And they were going back and forth. I mean, like, I don't know if it's a work. I mean, I want to say it is because they're grown people, and you want to say like, as parents, you want to be like, oh, hey, people can work stuff out, things like that. But I think there's some underlying stuff. I think it's like the real effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
off-screen tension.
Well, you had that with, you had that with Brett and Shawn. You had it with Matt Hardy and Edge, and like
you had Riddle and Seth,
and Hogan and
Riddle and
Macho
Seth,
Man. Like Vince, his big thing was, okay, there's real heat there. That's going to draw money. Now you guys have the option of, do you guys want to make a lot of money and we could work this as a storyline, or almost like you want me to fire and find both of you for not cooperating.
That's right.
That's where it's like, that's where Tony Khan dropped the ball with the man shall be nameless and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Like they had a huge money line pay-per-view right there.
Yeah.
If he was able to get them all sit down and go, hey, look, we have this match. It's going to draw a lot of money. People are going to watch to see if one of you guys are going to do a cheap shot or something like that. People would, I mean, I would have watched it because that there's that intense heat. And I'm just hoping that when the man shall be nameless goes against Seth Rollins, you have Goldberg in that match too. And he kicks both of them in the head, and that ends their careers.
Seth Rollins with one good turnbuckle powerbomb puts the man that shall be nameless out for a while.
Right.
Curb stomp.
For real.
And now it's funny. It's like, I like Seth when he was first with the Shield. He was my favorite Shield guy at the time. And then just over the years, like, he's just been more annoying.
That's because we can't quite figure out, is he flamboyant? Is he Macho Man?
He wants to be, but he doesn't.
I don't even know if he wants to be the Macho Man. I don't know where. That's the bother with me. It's like, is he trying to be the nature boy? He's kind of a mix between a nature man.
Future storyline. I mean, let's bring Gold Dust back with Cody,
right?
And have him go after Seth and just be like, hey, no, this is my gimmick.
Right, exactly. That's what I don't understand. Yeah, that's the frustrating part. Is you're like, what lane are you in? You don't even know.
Because there's times that he comes out and he, like I said last week at the last show, was he looked like the man behind the curtain from Wizard of Oz,
right,
at the pay-per-view, and then the next time he comes out and he's in more flamboyant. It's like, okay, how far do you go with it?
Exactly.
That's right.
Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it. All about control, and if you can take it. All about your stand, if you can play it. It's all about me, who's gonna make it. I am the game, you don't wanna play me. I am control, no way you can shake me. I am no way you can make me. I am the fate.
Time to play the game. Best of, worst of. This is the Christmas edition. Happy holidays, everybody. Hanukkah, whatever you believe in. This is where we're rolling. What is, or what has been, the biggest gift that the WWE Pro Wrestling has given? What I don't know what's happening. I'm hitting all sorts of buttons over here.
Can you soundboard?
Like, yeah, we need a new soundboard. So what is the biggest gift? And what I mean by that is, what's the one thing that made WWE pop for you in your lifetime? Just like, here it is. And what is the one lump of coal? So the best thing and the worst thing to attract fans. It's a good one, isn't it?
Is it for fans or for me personally?
For you personally.
For
You're a
personal
fan.
thing?
You're a fan, yeah.
You want to go first?
I don't know.
No, you go first. Gus first.
Right. For me growing up, it was always the attitude, the hardcore scene of it. But I love the Hardy Boys. And I just remember
pre-paint Hardy Boys or which
pre-paint.
Yeah.
But I will say when they came back at WrestleMania, like that inner kid in me like came up. I just had my daughter at the time, and I just remember sitting downstairs and I started screaming like a little kid again. My wife comes downstairs. What are you doing? I'm like, the Hardy Boys are back.
The baby's crying.
Yeah, baby's crying. I was like, I'll deal with that later.
That's right.
But the biggest lump of coal is, I mean, right now is the product line right now for me is the show running, the commercial breaks and all that. That's just the whole. Like I record, the business. I mean, I record every episode and I watch it, and I was looking at it. I was gonna take a photo to bring it in to talk to Tom about it. Is like you see like the yellow for Xfinity shows you like where the commercials are, and then blue is the live.
Yeah,
and it's like so small of chunks of blue and so many yellow. It's like, well, I could put this whole show in 45 minutes if I just fast forward everything.
It's 2 hours.
If you watch on Hulu, it does.
There you go.
You'll be like, hey, I saw the 2 hour show. And it's like, it's an hour and 5 minutes. Like, what?
Yeah, that would be for me.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, it's always been like the comebacks, like the jump out of your seat, like he was saying. That's always the gift when you get a legend that you almost like forgot about or like just missed. And like, obviously, mine will always be Brett. Whenever Brett comes back, it's like when he came back, like to mend fences in January when they were when he mend fences with Sean and. Came back that night. That was more my. It's like, hey,
yeah,
they were able to
prop them up a little bit. Look at that.
It's true. It's like it's the never say never kind of thing in their business, and it's like, WWE was Brett's home. I mean, that's just how it was, and like, you felt bad like when he had to go to WCW, and he's trying to do what's best for business, for the overall business product.
He's just a grouchy old man.
He's not grouchy old man. Be nice.
You hear that, Mr. Hart? He's on the screen behind you. Right.
And the biggest lump of coal for me has been the gobbledygooker.
The gobbledygooker.
The gobbledygooker from like one of the first 2 Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I think was that the Survivor Series Undertaker debuted. It was just like they had this months of build up. What's in the egg? What's in the egg?
Oh, that's right.
What's in the egg? And out pops out this guy dressed up as a turkey.
All right.
And just dances around the ring with Mean Gene Okerlund. And even as a kid, I was like,
rest in paradise, Mean Gene. Rest in my best gift that for the WWE is always the heavyweights. Right. I mean, that's why I never liked the man who should never. He's too small to be a heavyweight champion.
World champion.
Yeah. Right. So it's always these big, massive guys. I remember as a kid when Hulk Hogan came on the scene, he was on 60 Minutes. He was on the evening news. This big, he was
Rock and Roll Connection.
Oh my gosh, it was a change, and then Big Papa Pump, all these guys who are huge. Yeah. Hey. They spent a lot of time in the gym. I don't know what kind of vitamins they were taking, whatever, right? They were taking the vitamins and saying their
You
prayers.
still got to work out.
That's all that I know. But those were the guys who did it for me because they were massive, right? And I'm with you, Alex. The thing that has driven me away is now the entrances. The entrances used to be just a theme song, a little
Quick
flash, and you're in, and you come running down that. But now it's got stuff that you can't even see when you're at the stadium live.
Yeah.
It's all this junk. And then to your point, it's all right. I got in, I talked for 5 minutes, and now there's 10 minutes of commercial.
Right.
And then when I come back, the match has already started.
But that's something that's always been weird to me, because there's some shows that you'll watch recently where like they'll do kind of like the split screen where like it's still the match, but then they have their commercial break.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't we like just standardize on that?
Right.
Like if you could make that,
Exactly.
like,
Well, that's
cool.
what
You have your marketing and you have the match still going.
AEW was one that started that.
Yeah.
They'd have their live feed while a commercial, like, hey, stay with us, picture in picture, whatever. And then WWE saw that and it's like, okay, why we can do that too. It's the same thing during the COVID year where AEW is like, well, let's change the hard cam so it's towards the stage entrance.
Right.
So you're not seeing all the emptiness or whatever, and it looks better on the show too. And then that's when WWE started doing that, and then before they got all the
that and the other thing for me really is they used to wrestle a lot. Right. And I love that. You turn on, Raw or SmackDown and they were wrestling. Right. Everybody.
All right.
But now they've got so many pay-per-views and they're on. I mean, that's a lot on a body, and that's what they probably figured out. But you don't see people sometimes for months at a time, whether they're injured or not.
And it's like I've said before, if you want to watch wrestling, you watch AEW. If you want to be entertained, watch WWE.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, the first I timed it one time, it was like 40 minutes promo to start Raw. It was a 40-minute promo. And if it's like Triple H or Roman, it's going forever.
But here's the thing. You didn't know, right? Listen, you might have had, you might have been thrown through the ring and you're back the next Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether you're wrestling or not, you might not be wrestling, but you're making an appearance, talking smack, whatever. Now it's like, look at Monday. Look at Raw after the last pay-per-view. Right. I mean, you got to give kudos to Seth Rollins, right? Because he was beat up,
and it's also
Sammy.
like you also know, like whenever there's Raw after a pay-per-view, especially if they're doing Crown Jewel kind of thing, it's not going to be a good Raw.
No.
You got guys that are coming back late, hurt. It's going to be maybe a 4 or 5 man tag team match.
Well, they're also doing all the recap too, like not only commercial breaks, but what happened last night on Jewel, or what happened last night at Survivor Series, and it's like another 30-minute like intro, and it's like, oh my god, like this is.
Or they'll even
horrible.
re-show case that match that you saw on Peacock.
2/3
like
yeah. That's what I mean. So the production part of it for me is just throwing it right down.
And I think for me, my biggest draw when WWE, I don't say if, it's more when they put a logo in the middle of that ring of a sponsor.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the last match for Bray Wyatt, I mean, what was that? The Pitch Black match?
Thing, yeah.
I mean, that was logo in the middle. I mean, it was logoed everywhere.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was probably one of the more entertaining matches for me of the year.
Right.
And again, two great competitors, young-ish kind of thing, but they put on a good match, and it was marketed. Okay, maybe you do need that, though.
So true.
Occasionally, but like not for like the whole.
Oh, not the whole show.
Yeah, not the whole show kind of thing. It's like where you got that big old Oscar Mayer wiener in the middle of the ring, whatever.
Right.
And each turnbuckle post has a
Doritos,
sponsor or whatever. And that to me would be overdoing it. It's like the NBA right now.
Yeah,
you got, like,
well, that's
all
what the
stuff.
UFC might. I mean, the UFC has that, right? They've got
every post has a new brand, and
It's like it's too much NASCAR kind of stuff. It's just all publicity, and like I think it affects the product.
Unless it says 216 right in the middle of that. Right?
Work on that.
Or Thomas Productions. Then it's acceptable. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. That was the game. That's best of, worst of. That's the holiday, the Christmas present, and the lump of coal. And I think we hit the lump of coal enough, so that's good.
Maybe it turns into a diamond.
It could. It
God,
could.
Luke will never be a diamond.
Got to get DDP back with that diamond cutter.
So then
Throw it down.
today I saw online What Culture released their top 10 wrestlers for 2023. And I don't agree with probably half the list.
Let's see what they have.
All right, so we'll start at number 10.
10.
Rhea Ripley. She had an okay year,
She
but
had an okay year. She's a little upset with what happened on NXT. But
right. And like when you look at the women's division right now, they really haven't done much this year.
No, they've been
No.
kind of
there's been a lot of injuries too.
a lot of injuries. I feel like you had that big women's movement, and then like they were the center of the show for a while, and then
Rousey.
I mean, did they even do their women's pay-per-view?
They haven't done it. No, they
I was
haven't
like,
done
that
it.
was like a
That was
big
the only
thing.
one. That was the only one.
They carried it for a while.
Yeah.
A few
Yeah.
months there. They
Now,
carried it.
I wonder how much of that is also related to the whole Vince McMahon issues with the court, like,
Oh yeah.
because no one knows yet still who those women were,
Right.
and I just wonder if that's kind of why, like, they're kind of holding off on who
Maybe.
has TV time and who has a live mic per
Right.
se. But Rita, I think she has a great ability. I don't like her new look per se.
No.
I don't like the whole mommy persona. I really wish that Randy would have stayed on Raw just to kind of go back with that mommy daddy kind of back and forth
Right.
that they had. But she's more of a enforcer, kind of a manager style to me.
And like she had the great match with Charlotte at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and pretty much since then, like she has not really had any.
Charlotte's hurt now too, right?
Right? Yeah, she got hurt during the middle of that match. She had to call an audible
Yeah.
to get that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Done
why
right
it wasn't
away.
Bailey came out.
Bailey came
supposedly.
out, yeah, to like interfere and
Yeah.
get the quick pin so she could get out because like she just screwed up. It was her leg or ankle, something
Yeah.
like she could not put any weight on it.
Yeah, it was her knee.
Knee, I
Knee.
think. Yeah.
But
All right, number 9.
all right, number 9, Kenny Omega. For me, he didn't have that great of a year.
Like nothing stands out when you say that to me.
And that, like 2 years ago, he was like the number one guy for 2 years ago. But like,
Yeah.
he was our guy that got hurt, and this year, like, he really hasn't done
Pretty
anything.
quiet. Pretty quiet.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
Well, because they did that whole storyline with him and Jericho.
Yeah.
Him
And now they're
Damon,
and now him and Jericho are tag team.
Yeah. Again, I can't really
Yeah.
think of any major thing even in the last couple of years, even when him and Jericho had to become Painmaker again.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's Jericho's that common denominator there.
And like, yeah, it's like he's up there in age, especially with his kind of wrestling style.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's all caught up to him right now. All right, number 8 is the man that shall be nameless.
Wow.
Right, like he didn't wrestle.
All
For
right,
the
wrestled
last
like
3
twice.
weeks?
figured out the criteria. Only show up for the first 3 weeks and
That's
be
it.
in the social media.
Get a
Okay.
backstage
Yeah.
fight and cause controversy and not wrestle at all and be on the list.
Yeah. No.
No,
He shouldn't even be on the list.
I wouldn't even put him in the top 20.
No, not this year. Not for 2023.
no, he hasn't done anything
Right.
except cause chaos.
Who was this sponsor?
It's What Culture is the one that came up with that. Number 7 is Swerve Strickland with AEW. He's a good talent. He was one of those guys that Triple H was upset when they lost him. He was one of the releases, one of the NXT releases a few years ago. They were trying to get him back. I think he was one of the guys that was tampering with AEW with like their Triple H or whoever was trying to figure out their contract status and trying to get them to come over too. He was taking the reins back, you could say. To me, he's one of those. He's going to be one of those future talents that you'll see quite a bit.
I can't think of anything that he did that's like memory,
Right.
centric. Like, oh, he did that. I can't think of
He
it.
doesn't have that, but he's got a little bit of charisma. In him.
Yeah, he
So
does.
you can tell with that. It's like, okay, if you have a little bit of charisma, something's going to happen.
And he looks like a wrestler.
right.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
6 is Cody. Where
I might move him down, slide him down a little bit.
I'm gonna kind of hold my opinion of that one until I kind of see the rest of this list, because I definitely think he should be above the man that shall not be nameless. I'm okay with
Right.
that. I do like him as a wrestler. I like the stories that he does bring, but I kind of want to see.
Well, again, here's the thing: as he's the American Nightmare, he shows up in a 3-piece suit. Where are we at here?
Well, I mean, that's like the whole thing. I mean, but look at like Judgment Day with Edge. When Edge was part of Judgment Day, he came in like, okay, Judgment Day. I'm thinking more like even their whole, like you were saying, the AI, not the AI, the visuals for when they walk out. It's ominous. It's like the kind of Ministry of Darkness era. The Brood, yeah. And then like Edge and Damian Priest at the time are sitting there in like full on suits, and it's like, what?
Yeah, right.
Like, all right, come out with like cloaks, something.
Right,
like, come on, it's like go back to the Brood.
And that was a storyline where it's like I thought like they rushed it way too much, getting rid of Edge. Like he should have stayed there. I know like he had the injury with Cody, and they were like, oh, we need another face. But to me, like they should just. That was a time when you changed Rollins to a face.
They should give Cody white contacts. It's just his eyes are white.
Well, I kind of want to see what they're gonna do with Shinsuke, because I think you could kind of play where something gets unhinged with Cody, kind of doing the brother Nero role that like Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy had, where like Matt had to like kind of bring him back. Because again, you're right. American Nightmare, he doesn't fit that persona, but he brought that though from New Japan because he wanted something that reminded him of his father, but then something that was different at the same time.
Right.
And he wanted nothing to do with the word star at all.
Right.
I still love that promo that he took with the for the holiday season where it was Triple H and a Stardust character, and you just see him move the Stardust character, like Triple H in front of the Stardust character toy that they were trying to advertise.
That's funny. Well, Stunning Steve Austin didn't work real well either.
No.
But Stone Cold did. Ringmaster, right? Yeah.
And you always saw there's something there.
Right.
It's just gave him that right stick.
Right. And that might be where we're at with Cody, is just waiting for that right stick.
It's like what they did with LA Knight, where it's like, Max Dupree was not working.
Yeah.
And let's go back to where he was Eli Drake that worked with him in TNA. And that was change the name up a little bit and go back to NXT. Like that's what just drives me nuts with them. It's like you develop all this stuff in NXT, bring it up to the main brand. That worked.
But bring it up as a thing, not
Rocky
bring it up and change it.
Rocky Maivia didn't work real well. Let's be honest.
But it's like you have Butch now. Like he was great as Pete Dunne in NXT.
Yeah.
And
with his
there was Walter in NXT. It's like, why are you changing his name? It's the same company. It's not like you're taking him from something else and making them new or whatever.
Right,
it's like just take what works and keep it. All right. Number 5, Toni Storm. So she's now the women's AEW champion. She's doing the whole like Marilyn Monroe kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's entertaining. She's actually doing doing a good job with
top
it.
5, sure.
She broke away from the Outcasts with Soraya and Ruby Soho, and is doing this kind of Hollywood drama kind of thing. It's working for her. It's a little bit unique, and she has that look. And so, with her on that list, I don't mind that.
No,
she's actually doing something. Number 4 is MJF. He's been the main face AEW. He's always been better as a heel. Right now it's kind of funny, like where they kind of dropped the whole in 2024 free agency thing.
Yeah.
He's more likely just quietly re-signed with them.
Yeah.
And I think WWE leaked out reports that like they can't sign him. He's on a deal till like 2027 with most of the roster. But he's another guy where I don't know. He's just better as a heel.
Yeah.
And he's better doing the face job than the Miz would. Because like Miz as a face never works.
Yeah.
You still want to punch him in the face or kick him in the nuts.
That's right. That's right.
No matter what.
No matter what.
But yeah, like MJF, I mean, he kind of do the face thing, but it's like the heel work is just gold for him.
Yeah.
He's one guy that I don't know why they even brought him to a face. Like you said, it was just such a natural fit for that personality. Right. Again, but that's even like you were saying with Rocky Maivia, like when he went to The Rock and we became that heel, it just fit him so perfectly. But then he just became so big that you had to make him a face.
Right. And then number 3 on the list is Orange Cassidy, another AEW guy. Some people like his style, others don't. His style has grown on me. It's different.
I don't know enough about him to say.
So he
Like
likes
his hands in his pockets.
does backflips, kicks you in the shins a little bit, kind of taunts you. But for me, he's that good side piece attraction.
But you would put him,
he's the bearded woman.
I wouldn't put him up that high on the list.
That's what I'm saying. But like, he's not a
Right.
top. Like, I couldn't build a company around. Like when I
Right,
think
yeah.
top 5 people,
Right.
like okay, if I
Right.
pick Tom's top 5 that are right, not Tom, sorry,
No.
this culture's list of top 5.
Right.
Can I build a company around MGF? I definitely think you can.
Yeah.
Tony
Orange
Storm, Cassidy.
Tony Storm right now, you could. The Marilyn Monroe thing's working for
It's
him.
working
It
great
is.
for her.
It's working good for me too.
Number 2 is Gunther.
2? Well, he had a good year. Let's be
I
honest.
mean, he's actually
from
defending
WrestleMania
his,
through. Yeah, he's had a good one.
I
He's
mean,
had
is
some good
he
matches.
Yep.
the greatest of all time for Intercontinental Champion? I would say probably not.
No, but I
But
think
one of the
you
more
could,
dominant ones, yeah.
I think you could see him. But we talked about him getting a little break, maybe. But I think you could see him moving up the ladder too.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's where for me, if I was booking a Royal Rumble, I'd have him win it.
Yeah.
Have him versus Roman, title for title, or whatever. You
Or
have the
have
2
him
longest
hold both.
reigning.
Have him hold the Intercontinental and
Yeah.
the World, and then it's like, oh.
I mean, you have both the longest reigning WWE champion. You have now the longest reigning Intercontinental champion. Have them both go against each
Oh,
other.
that could be good, actually.
I would drop the whole Cody thing, drop the whole Man Shall Be Nameless thing, and I would build WrestleMania against that because Gunther is your future.
When was the last time Gunther, not even for the title, but when was he last pinned?
Last pin,
Because I mean, like, he's been pretty dominant. I mean, those chops. I mean, even
Right.
Cody said it. I mean, like, those chops are pretty hard.
and his only loss was a count out to Chad Gable
But was
this
it
year.
pinned?
It wasn't a pin, but yeah, a pin. I don't know if he was pinned in NXT.
Because that was the whole thing with you said his name earlier. They changed his name from NXT, but like he was like the UK champion for
like
so many
right.
days, and like he was unstoppable. And then they bring him up here, and he's like, "Oh, he's a pushover." Like,
Right.
what? And that's something. I mean, we'll finish this list, but there's a comment that you made last show that I want to touch on this one. But
And then the last one on the list is Bryan Danielson. For me, it's one of my favorite wrestlers today, but he didn't wrestle much this year again. He constantly hurt.
yeah, I think the draw for him for me was him coming back because he was never supposed to be able to be medically cleared. Here he comes to AEW and he's showing what he could still do.
Right.
Yeah, so I could see that one being there. I could see him being in the top 5, but I don't think number 1.
No. And that's why I was kind of shocked they didn't have Osprey on the list.
No.
That's and they didn't have LA Knight on the list. I'm glad they didn't have Seth Rollins on the list. But
I mean, I would put Braun Breaker on that list.
Mhm.
I think for what he's doing, that's what I wanted to touch on was what he's doing in NXT right now.
He's been there so long.
He has been. It's time for him to move up. And there's been so many times where, like, he comes to the main roster and they bring him back down.
Right.
But like what he did, was it Saturday? Was there like pay-per-view or whatever? But like
yesterday.
what he did, yesterday. What he did yesterday just came out there and just like annihilated. And it's just like, okay, like when he's on the screen, it's someone to watch.
All right.
And that's what I think right now, like the main roster is missing. It's like, okay, what is he going to do? Like, what is that person?
And that's where you could kind of bring a guy like him in to do almost the Goldberg gimmick.
Mhm.
Just come in, squash a guy with pure wrestling ability.
Yeah.
Similar to like also Brock Lesnar too. Just have him come in and just dominate like that. And I think I've said it probably maybe been a year ago. Like he would have been my top choice to dethrone Roman.
Yeah.
Because here's your young guy, your young buck, your new star, homegrown star that you've now developed. He can be a legitimate threat to Roman, and now you have him for so many years to build his career.
Is he not there because of his last name and not Breaker?
It could be.
Yes.
Right. But Rick,
It wasn't Rick that he had the issue.
Rick-
with.
right.
Scott.
It was Uncle Scott,
Yeah.
right? And this is Rick's boy.
Well,
Yeah.
Rick made the comment that kind of put
That's true.
Braun back down
That's true.
to kind of get out of the media attention.
Yeah.
It was the homophobic comment or something like
Yeah.
that.
But I would love for them to just do where, like you were saying, he comes in Goldberg gimmick, not the streak, not
Right.
that, but like just the gimmick of he comes in, he's undefeated, and you could then have Braun Strowman come back, who he's already made comments. You know he's coming back to WWE because he made the comment about the man that shall not be nameless. Is you can get these hands too.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him doing where he's blowing through all these people, and then because you're not going to have a Brock Lesnar come back and fight Breaker, so you have that kind of that bump, that first major mountain be the the monster among men, and I think that would be a good rivalry right there. Then you can kind of see where he's at from there, but that should push you to middle of the year possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I think Braun's, they talked about, the last rumor I heard was maybe mid to late January him coming back.
Okay.
So I mean that kind of pushes.
There's a bunch of guys that were out on shelves, injured wise. That like, so he'll probably. I mean, I could see Braun coming back, Royal Rumble.
Yeah. But that's also where you could see Breaker and him in the same ring, and then all of a sudden, I mean, put Braun back in NXT for a moment and kind of let him get back into. He's in phenomenal shape,
incredible shape.
Yeah, I mean, like Braun Breaker, but I mean Braun Strowman. Like follow him on Instagram, and it's just like.
From what he was,
or do you have someone like The Rock show up and bring him out? Does he need a catalyst like that? Not necessarily his family, but does he need somebody to go, here's your break and here you go?
You mean someone? I think he's already over though. I mean, I think The Rock would. I mean, someone of that would just be bringing him over,
right?
I mean, if you wanted the safest thing, would just line him with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, but then he's in that staple.
Or no, Heyman he breaks away from the bloodline. He sees that it's dying, it's a ship ready to crash, and now he has this new younger talent that needs a mouthpiece.
He could.
If you do the route of the man that shall not be nameless go against the bloodline, I could see him grabbing Breaker as to go against Soho. To kind of have that kind of here's my enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see that, but that would have been something that I would have built for like next year's Survivor Series.
Right.
We just need an invasion. I mean, like we just need something where like it's all holds bar, like because there's nothing right now that draws you to watch weekly.
Right.
Not on a weekly basis.
And WWE does the same thing like AEW would be doing. It's like, oh, this week we're going to have Cody Rhodes make an appearance. This week, Cody Rhodes what does he have to say? Like, he's supposed to be a Raw guy, and he's going like on every single show.
Hack Twitter and say you don't have like, our system's hacked. We have no Twitter feed right now.
It's almost like they're making fun of Tony Khan has a major announcement. Tune in. It's like you don't even care anymore because it's not special anymore.
That's the one thing is, I mean, the Attitude Era kind of helped with is like you watched because you didn't have the social media aspect of things. And that's one thing that like bothers me now about all entertainment, sports, entertainment, wrestling, NBA, MLB, and all that is there's nothing out there anymore that's like a surprise. Like, you know, everything's coming weeks before.
Yeah.
You know, the free agent signed, you know, the free agent is this. That's kind of what made me tune in when I was a kid was, oh, what's going to happen?
Yep. Yeah.
So
there was always that element of surprise in every show.
Yeah.
Always was just
it's like here, Tom's got a co-host today.
No announcement rolled up in.
Never know who's going to show up.
That's it. We got 2 minutes.
And so right now it's the Christmas time. They're going to have Iron Claw movie come out. It's about the Von Erich family.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
They're actually a few of the Von Erichs that are left are going to come and be on AEW. Oh. No, not on my show. Our show gets more viewers, but. But yeah, they'll be on AEW to help promote the movie, and MJF has a brief cameo now, is what it's looking like.
Yeah.
Reading online, it says people that saw the advanced version of the Iron Claw movie say that MJF's role as Lance Von Erich was drastically cut from the version that was shown to critics months ago, and his scene has been heavily edited. He has no speaking role. And is being described as a blink and you miss it.
And Zac Efron is.
Efron is the Von Erich.
Yeah.
Kevin Von Erich.
Doesn't look like he does a bad job at that.
No. Either. And it's kind of funny where he had the whole thing with The Rock and Baywatch and him learning the ropes, literally.
Literally.
Wrestler, and
that's it.
I don't know. Is he going to make the next jump as Logan Paul? So,
Maybe. Listen, we got to run because the rejects are rolling up right
They
up.
finally
right up
decided
in
to show up
behind
for
us.
once. Oh, look at that. They got a full crowd
That's
today.
it. Oh, my gosh.
What is this? Oh, they got old man back
Tony,
there.
Tony the kid trying
Tony
trying to wear a hat to cover up his balding head. He's got
Oh,
comb over.
I thought that was the midget Undertaker.
That's
The Wish.
that's it. Listen, we got to run.
Yeah, the Wish version of the Undertaker.
Promise here, and let me tell you something, brother. Hey, have an enjoyable Christmas.
Merry
Alex, good
Christmas.
to have you on set.
Thank
Hopefully, in 2024, we're going to see more of you.
Yeah. So what's our next show? Sometime in January.
Yeah, January something. Stay tuned. We'll get it out there.